Please listen carefully.
Hello, universe. Welcome to the Optimist Daily Update. I'm Summers McKay.
And I'm Kristy Jansen, and we're part of the team behind the Optimist Daily, making solutions the news. We bring you reader-funded solutions news every day in order to change the tenor of news media, social media, and the direction of your day to one focused on solutions.
7 days a week, we publish positive news stories written by award-winning journalists and delivered online to your inbox and through our social channels. And also, we are sharing these solutions in a commute-worthy, walk-worthy, home office-worthy, federal holiday-worthy podcast. Today is Friday, the 18th of June, 2021. Hey, Kristy, happy Juneteenth.
Happy Juneteenth, Summers. It's official. We have an official holiday now.
Exactly. Well, so technically Juneteenth is on the 19th of June, but instead, because it is a Saturday, it is being observed by people who are federally employed and those who are able to get a last-minute day off. It is being observed this Friday. So today, Kristy, what is Juneteenth?
Well, Juneteenth is it's a celebration of June 19th, 1865, which is when Major General Gordon Granger announced the end of slavery in Galveston, Texas. And this is after the Civil War, after President Abraham Lincoln's 1863 Emancipation Proclamation. So it didn't get all the way to Texas, that announcement.
For 2 years.
2 years.
Yeah.
But in 1865, some of the last remaining enslaved people who hadn't yet been freed were finally freed. And the date has been a state holiday in Texas since 1980. And it's officially commemorated in every single state in the Union except for South Dakota. But few had observed it as a paid holiday up until now.
Well, and most Americans, non-Black Americans, celebrate July 4th as freedom, right? July 4th, 1776. But that's Independence Day. But Juneteenth is actually when, Juneteenth is actually when all enslaved Americans became free as well. And it's something that this last year has really become a priority to make it a federal holiday. And I think it was yesterday, right? Yesterday, President Biden signed it into law, right?
Yep. Which means that short notice, but Friday is a federal holiday for for federal employees. It's a national holiday for federal employees, and
we joke about holidays around here at the Optimist Daily because, as you guys know, the news never sleeps. We try to observe the holidays in ways that we have like super light meetings and make sure our stories are done in advance. In particular, it's a little bit funny because we do try to write stories about 24 hours in advance. And this one on the Optimist Daily had to quickly be updated because yesterday, when it was scheduled for publishing, it was likely that they would be signing it into law, and boom, here it is.
So, our headline that is in our newsletter, which was like sort of scheduled to go out already by Wednesday evening for Friday, reads, "The U.S. is one step closer to making Juneteenth a federal holiday," and that headline will now be updated to be, "U.S. has now made Juneteenth a federal holiday."
Exactly.
So Summers, how do we celebrate like this? So it's Freedom Day, and for some people, it's something that has been celebrated for a couple of decades already, but only in the last couple of years has it sort of reached national prominence. And this is our first year that it's going to be a paid day off for Americans to observe and acknowledge this momentous date.
Right. So we're all going to have to learn new ways and traditions of celebrating this. Now, first and foremost, learn the full history of Juneteenth. And this is going to be an article that you can read on Saturday's Optimist Daily. But there are many resources online for which you can search and learn about the full history of Juneteenth. It's really important to, sort of contribute toward your own anti-racist education to understand what the history of Juneteenth is. Some good resources to start with are the book Juneteenth by Ralph Ellison and a good article from the New York Times that we do link to in tomorrow's Optimist Daily. Second, celebrate with loved ones. Really no wrong way to celebrate, but many people do serve cornbread, collard greens, and cabbage as they represent prosperity in Black history. I am actually going to whip up some of that. I actually love collard greens and cabbage. My father has, we have that history in our family of eating those. So I think I'm definitely going to whip some of those up. Now, support Black-owned businesses. We do have a long way to go to create a truly equitable society, but supporting Black-owned businesses in our own communities is a fantastic way to start. Seek out Black-owned shops, restaurants, and salons, and visit and share them with your friends. Now, what's critical about that is not just visit them on Juneteenth, but make a commitment to support them throughout the year. Definitely on Juneteenth. Spread the word. That's what we're doing around here, right? Tell people. Talk about it. Support racial justice and education in schools. Ask your companies why they offer a 4th of July as a paid holiday, but not Juneteenth. Maybe just bring it up to your employers and the people who you work with. It can be as simple as initiating the discussion of the importance of Juneteenth at the dinner table with your family. What else, Kristy? What are some other ways to do this?
You can also donate to racial justice-focused organizations, the American Civil Liberties Union, Audre Lorde Project, the Bail Project, Black Journalists Therapy Relief Fund. Whatever resonates with you, find people doing good work that supports racial justice around that subject and throw them a couple bucks. I think, it takes all of us. And finally, look for a Juneteenth event. Juneteenth, New York is hosting a 3-day online and in-person summit for Juneteenth. The Smithsonian Museum of African American Culture and History in Washington, D.C. has some presentations on the history, on the significance of Juneteenth. Most major cities are going to have some sort of a parade to commemorate it. And it's just now that things are starting to open up and we can, most of us who are, at least those of us who are vaccinated, can feel more secure in circulating with other human beings again. It's a nice, maybe this is a great way to celebrate our own personal freedom, right?
Yeah. And we are having a podcast moment because
I heard the blower. Yes,
you heard the blower. I'm desperately trying to we have a mosquito situation at our house, and both my daughters and I all are very allergic to mosquitoes, so we are covered in welts. And so my husband called the mosquito guy to come, and first what they do is they blow them all out, and then they spray something, and I'm sure it's terrible for us, and Stacy Colino and Shanna would have at me, but nonetheless, apologies for that sound interruption.
Well,
and
let's just finish this up real quick.
Finish it up.
Other headlines on Friday's news feed. Swedish study demonstrates lasting benefits of free school lunches. That's something for us to look at here. It's a model we can look at in the United States as well. Scientists discover 2 cat-sized squirrel species that live in the Himalayas.
I wanted to cover that story, but I'll just read it. And yes, cat-sized squirrels.
We did our animal day earlier this week, right?
Yeah.
Somerset House welcomes trees into its courtyard for the first time. An innovative plant proves that polystyrene isn't impossible to recycle after all.
Isn't polystyrene, isn't that the stuff in the carpets that we were worried about a couple weeks ago?
I think it was polyethylene.
Ethylene.
I don't know. All these
some poly something.
Anyway, and it's the stuff that Loop turns polyurethane into. So it's in a lot of our products. I think it's in everything, basically. As Shauna Swan, the countdown book, it's everywhere. So we need to figure out how to deal with that plastic waste problem.
Yep.
And there's many solutions. It's a yes and solution kind of thing.
Exactly. Hey, there was an ancient mini Pompeii discovered beneath an abandoned Italian cinema. There is a story about how to shop for sustainable jewelry. A 71-year-old Mexican man builds solar stoves made from reused materials. The wombat, which I love, is helping scientists explore wombat burrows in Australia. And Paris, outdoor pandemic dining is here to stay. I think that's true in Santa Barbara too, right?
Yeah, I think it is. And I think that is a wonderful advancement for our cities to have places where people can actually see each other and walk and communicate. And it's just such a lovely, lovely experience. I want to also mention next week is Unity Earth Week, which actually I think it starts on Saturday. And this is we're pairing with Unity Earth. It's an organization, it's an online massive world event that everybody's invited to join into. So go check that out if you are listening today. It's Friday the 18th. But tomorrow, Saturday the 19th, is the opening ceremonies, and we'll be covering that all through the week next week on the Optimist Daily. That's it for right now. Thank you so much for listening to the Optimist Daily Update. We promise to continue to share positive solution-based stories with ideas on how you can participate in the changing world and help ensure it is changed for the good. Promise to keep covering current events with accuracy, even when we have to update our headlines after the fact. Legitimate sources, and offering you the information you need most to chart new paths for all of us.
Hey, if you haven't already and you are an avid listener and you love hearing Kristy and I tell you the good news, please become an emissary on theoptimistdaily.com, and for just $5 a month, support reader-funded independent journalism. Be part of our solution, changing consciousness and addressing our world's biggest challenges with a problem-solving mindset. Let's keep the Optimist Daily free to all who need it, supported by those who can. Happy Juneteenth. Take the afternoon off if you can, and let's celebrate freedom for all. Have a great weekend, guys.